What if your suffering wasn't a sentence, but a concealed invitation from God? What if every wound, every separation, every quiet moment was not a dead end, but a doorway? Ibn Arabi taught that the divine names are not merely phrases to recite. They are pathways, keys, reflections, and when you learn to move with them, you don't just endure this life, you rise above it. In a world built on illusions, where money, praise, and achievement fade like mist, Ibn Arabi calls us to anchor ourselves in Al-Haqq, the ever-true. Everything we run after slips through our fingers, but Al-Haqq, the truth, never fades. The Quran says, everything will perish except his face. 28. When your heart clings to what is real, no loss can break you. Compliments don't inflate you. Criticism doesn't crush you. You walk steadily, not because life is easy, but because your inner core does not move. The Prophet said, "Be in this world as a traveler." Ibn Arabi expands this meaning. This world is only a reflection. Don't fall in love with the mirror. Look toward the light behind it. A heart rooted in Al-Haqq becomes like a tree nourished from a hidden spring. Storms may bend it, but they cannot uproot it. This is the soul that remembers God even when the world forgets itself. So begin not with fear, but with dhikr. Turn your heart to the one who never changes. Let the name Al-Haqq settle into your breathing, and your heart will discover what this world can never offer. The ego longs to be noticed, to be right, to claim ownership. But Ibn Arabi teaches that the self that grasps is the self that hurts. Freedom begins when the heart recognizes Al-Ghani, the one free of all need. He is infinitely rich, and in him you need nothing but him. The Prophet said that true wealth is not in possessions. Real wealth is the richness of the soul. When the heart mirrors Al-Ghani, it no longer begs for approval. It gives without fear, stands without arrogance, and walks gently upon the earth, detached, not by hostility toward the world, but by knowing your worth is not measured by applause or gold. Let go of the illusion that you are your title, your reputation, your status. You are a soul in motion, not a nameplate. Ibn Arabi writes that the ego survives on comparison, always looking sideways, never upward. But the one who views through the spirit perceives only God. And in that vision, contentment is born. You stop demanding the world to fill you and begin to be filled from the source. So whisper his name, Al-Ghani. When greed stirs, remember, nothing you cling to will remain, but what you release may free you forever. Your eyes see shapes, colors, movement, but they do not see meaning. Ibn Arabi reminds us, what is real is not always visible, and what is visible is not always real. To truly see, the heart must awaken to An-Nur, the light. Allah says Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. 2 Fawr 35. This is not light like stars or flames. It is the light of understanding, the illumination behind appearances. An enemy may be a hidden guide. A loss may be mercy dressed as grief. The Prophet said, "Beware the insight of the believer, for he sees with the light of Allah." Ibn Arabi teaches that this light descends upon hearts cleared of envy, arrogance, and haste. When the veil lifts, what once felt random reveals its purpose. The world trains us to react. Divine light teaches us to reflect. The outer eye sees insult. The inner eye sees someone hurting. The outer eye sees failure. The inner eye sees redirection. This is not naive. It is clarity refined through trust. To see by the light of An-Nur is to recognize every moment as a sign, every person as a mirror, every hardship as a message. So cleanse the lens of your heart. Let remembrance polish your sight. Let An-Nur lead you where ordinary vision cannot go. Pain arrives unannounced. Loss enters without knocking. But Ibn Arabi teaches that nothing comes without purpose. Everything is woven by Al-Latif, the subtle, the gentle. The Quran reminds us, He is subtle with His servants. 4:19. Al-Latif works in quiet shifts, hidden threads, soft nudges. What looks like destruction may be direction. What breaks you may be opening you. The Prophet said that no fatigue, illness, or sorrow touches a believer, except that Allah erases some of his sins through it. Every hardship carries wisdom, if the heart is tender enough to hear it. Ibn Arabi calls these trials disguised mercy. When the soul clings too tightly, it forgets its source. So the subtle hand gently removes what blinds it, revealing what endures. Sometimes we awaken only when shaken. Fire purifies gold, yet only the one who trusts the refiner endures with hope. Al-Latif never wounds without healing. He touches the heart quietly and transforms grief into growth. So when the night feels endless, whisper his name, Al-Latif, and know that even in your hardest moments, his gentleness is at work. Hardship stretches time. A single day feels like a year. Your prayers echo without response. But Ibn Arabi reminds us that As-Sabur, the patient, is not just a divine attribute. It is an invitation. The Prophet said, "Patience is light. It doesn't remove the storm. It lets you see through it." Patience doesn't suppress pain. It holds pain with dignity, trusting the one who knows what you cannot. As-Sabur waits not from neglect, but wisdom. Fruit does not ripen before its season. A seed must rest in darkness before it blooms. Your waiting is not wasted. It is shaping you. Ibn Arabi calls this the secret stillness, when the heart remains calm even when nothing seems to change. When the door stays shut, it remains in remembrance. It breathes. Allah is enough. True patience is not weakness. It is spiritual strength. It is silence not from fear but from certainty. You stop asking when and begin asking who. Who owns time? Who forms paths? Who fully sees me? The answer is As-Sabur. So when the world urges you to hurry, resist. Let God's patience settle into your being. And as you wait, grow. There is a beauty beyond appearance, a beauty of the soul that reflects the divine. Ibn Arabi taught that a heart polished by remembrance becomes a mirror of God's attributes. Among them is Al-Jamil, the beautiful. The Prophet said, "Allah is beautiful and loves beauty, but this beauty is not in faces or garments. It lives in mercy extended to those who don't deserve it, in justice upheld even when difficult, in silence that protects another's dignity, in forgiveness that frees your own heart." Ibn Arabi saw character as the highest reflection. He wrote that the complete human mirrors God's names fully. When you show compassion, you reflect Ar-Rahman. When you act with wisdom, you carry Al-Hakim. When you endure with grace, you echo As-Sabur. This path is not imitation, it is transformation. You don't merely perform kindness, you become kindness, not just patience itself. Gradually, the ego thins and the soul begins to shine. Al-Jamil is not far. His beauty flows through every pure act, every gentle word, every heart that chooses light over darkness. When you reflect him, nothing external defines you. You move not in reaction, but in radiance. So live as a mirror. Let your presence declare without words. This is what it looks like when God dwells within a heart. If even a single line in this journey reached you, know this: it was not just a video. It was a whisper meant for your soul. And that whisper is only the beginning. Subscribe to Heart's Whisper, not for more content, but for companionship on your path back to the One.